What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 168 of the Comic Bookies podcast. This is the live, unedited YouTube version. As you can see from the video, Sean is not here this week. He is in the happiest place on earth. Unless you are a bank account. Then it's hell on earth. A living nightmare. Mark's there. What's up, Mark?
What up, what's up?
All right. Let's go ahead and do this. All right, we're good to go. Let me get 10 or 15 seconds of silence so I can get this stupid static out when I edit it later. All right, got my gain where I want it. Okay, going live for the intro. 5, 4, 3, 2, and hello, ladies and gentlemen. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of the Comic Bookies podcast. Episode 168 is live here on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. Thank you so much for tuning in and supporting. First up this week is comic books. We have some comic books to get into, including some DC books. Dynamite comes out, Image, Boom Studios, Marvel, just to name a few. And in some news, a certain prop is revealed from a canceled Spider-Man 4 movie. Try to give a spoiler-free Black Adam review. Peacock gives us details on the new Twisted Metal series, and me and Mark have some harsh words for Disney Plus and other streaming services. And up in sports, and of course we have sports on the other side of the podcast. Kind of light this week as the World Cup keeps rolling along, and we get into some college football and NFL. Who is going to make the Final Four playoff for the NCAA? All that and more on a brand. You can expect that and more on this brand new 168th episode of the Comic Bookies podcast. Let's go ahead and collide some sports and comics. Let's go collide the worlds of sports and comics. All right. Couple of tries there, but that's the power of editing, folks. All right. Mark, you back in there? I need to get some wireless headphones, too. That'd be badass. Hook up via Bluetooth or whatever, so anything you'd have to plug in or whatever won't, cause any kind of static or whatever. Sometimes I think it's that, like it's all these different plugs, I swear once I get the new microphone, I'm going to obviously get an arm that has a clamp that's big enough for the desk outside. So that'd be cool.
Feel like those clamps are pretty universal sometimes.
Shit, you would think. And both desks that I've ever recorded on are the one that I have. It does not work. It's so stupid.
I seen a nice arm today.
Yeah?
That Think Media was like doing their like Cyber Monday deals. I don't know if you saw on YouTube.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I
but
did
they
see
like
that
showed like an arm
of it. Yeah, I did see that.
They showed a pretty fancy arm.
Nice.
A lot nicer than this little janky one that I got for like $40.
Yeah,
I was thinking of getting
you gotta
it.
get that Justin Verlander, bro.
What?
You gotta get that Justin Verlander arm.
All right.
All right, going back live in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 2, and 1. And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, for the 168th episode of the Comic Bookies podcast. Thank you so much for watching us live on YouTube right now as I speak, or listening wherever you get your podcasts. But this episode of the podcast comes to you from Treasure Island Comics in Fremont, California tomorrow. Actually, no, not tomorrow, but in 2 days. Wednesday, November 30th, 2022 is the 5th Wednesday of the month, and I thought my stack was actually pretty light. It's actually pretty average. All those annuals coming out when it's the 5 Wednesdayers. But go see Alex every Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. He's open. Get your books, old and new, and he can get them any way you want them. Sean is down in Anaheim visiting Mickey Mouse, Minnie Mouse, and everyone down there at the happiest place on earth. So it's just me and Mark this week. Mark, how are you, sir? How are you doing this week?
What is up, brother? What is up? I'm doing good. World Cup. Portugal got a win today. Mm-hmm. They obviously advanced into the round of 16, joining Brazil and France, I believe. I'm not sure if any other team has got in yet. We'll get into that in a little bit, but just excited, man. Excited to be here with you. 168. It's going to be good. And just, my stack is going to be quite bigger this week as well because I wasn't able to make it down a TI. So, I'm just going to have a couple books to get into today. Got like 3, but just excited to get into it with the fans. About to be December here. I hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving. Everyone stayed safe and ate some turkey. Enjoyed some football with some World Cup action in the morning as well. But here we are. The World Cup keeps rolling. The year keeps rolling. The winter gets colder. And the Comic Bookies podcast keeps getting better. So thank you for joining. And how are you, Mike?
I'm doing pretty good, dude. Thanksgiving was good. Unfortunately, my son, he caught his sister's pink eye. So my wife and my son stayed home while me and my daughter drove out to my parents' house to have some Thanksgiving. I was able to bring her all the good stuff, all the the snacks and the dinner and the desserts and everything. So she got the full meal the next day. But it just kind of sucked with we have some people at the house coming up from SoCal who are like, a little bit on the older side, so I don't want to expose them to any kind of like cough or cold, fevers, pink eye or whatever, you know what I'm saying? So just kind of playing it safe over there. But other than that, it was pretty cool. Like you said, the seasons are changing, and my God, the one thing that's not stopping are the goddamn leaves. I think I've complained about this at least once every year on this podcast since we've been doing this, but finally got the spark plug in for the leaf blower. Changed that son of a bitch, about 1-2 p.m. and I did the whole backyard. So tomorrow I'm tackling the front yard with that huge tree that you know what I'm talking about. The huge tree. I spent half an hour, 45 minutes just using the push broom to get everything on the street, kind of in a nice big pile. But got to tackle the lawn tomorrow. So the fun life of a homeowner and dad.
Right. Man, that tree is crazy, but your spark plug's coming in, so yes. Rest assured you'll get that thing handled pretty quick.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, no.
When you said that, I had to think about it. When you text me, I'm like, a spark plug? What the hell is it showing me? He's raking leaves? Are you talking about a spark plug? I'm like, oh, right. you have a gas-powered something.
Yes. Before the great state of California tries to take away all of our gas-powered appliances, I have to hold on to one, right? I love my electric.
I don't know about having a gas-powered appliance because your house is going to stink. You're probably going to die.
I mean. Appliance,
but a gas-powered lawn equipment, yes.
Yeah, a piece of equipment, yes. Although I do love the gas stoves. I do love a gas stove. I wish we had one.
Yes, but way better. Oh, you guys have electric stove?
Yeah, we have an electric one.
Yeah, I don't get down with those electric stoves.
Okay, well, moving on from electric stoves and leaf blowers to colliding the worlds of sports and comics. But anyways, hope everyone had a fun and safe Thanksgiving. Thank you so much for everyone who tuned in and watched us have the Thanksgiving holiday giveaway. Hope all 10 winners, congratulations. I'm halfway through them. I bagged up about 5 or 6 of them. I'll do the rest of them tomorrow and then ship them out either tomorrow or Wednesday before I head back to work this week. But yeah, dude, 3 more weeks of work, and then I have 2 weeks of another shutdown at work for the Christmas and New Year's holiday, and 2022 is over. Just like that. In a blink of an eye, it's crazy. It's so cliche, but man, another year.
It is cliche, and it reminds me of like being in high school, right? You get into high school, you're just out of junior high, 8th grade. I know different parts around the country, and probably I think high school might even go into ninth grade, and then junior high might go into ninth grade. High school's 10th, 11th, and 12th.
Right.
But anyway, dude, just just imagine though, right? Freaking going into dang it. Wait, say that again.
What again?
What were you saying?
Just saying, like it sounds cliche, but like another year is just like come and gone, like in a flash,
sorry,
in a Barry on a flash.
And then I got on the high school tip. Sorry. Yeah, when you go into high school, it's like, dude, you have 4 years, right? And you're like, man, this is gonna take forever. And now we're out of high school, me like 20 years now, and it's like, Jesus, those 4 years that I thought was gonna take forever, it really went by in the blink of an eye. And here we are. COVID, we thought we were never going to get out of that debacle, right? But it's almost 2023, and that was 2020. So time's flying, man. Time really is flying.
Yeah, dude.
I had a brain fart there. I'm like, what the hell? Why am I talking about high school right now?
It's okay, Mark. It's okay to want to remember the good times, and
reminisce.
And I don't want to age drop out there, but you're getting up there. You're getting up there.
I am. I got to accept reality,
You got to start planning your 40th birthday in a couple years, bro.
Father time stops for nobody, right?
Nobody.
I know.
But yeah, all right, let's move on to Vicious Heart 06. We know who you are. Says tight. Thank you so much for tuning in. Let's get into the comic book side. So the comic books are first, and like always, I'm going to preview some of the books that are coming out in a couple days at your local comic book store. So coming from the DC side, we have some annuals coming out this week. Nightwing 2022 annual, Detective Comics 2022 annual. That Nightwing annual must be good, because usually when we have a Batman, an action, a detective and what so that the website that we always look up, it's based off of like polls on their poll list. That's usually number one. But this Nightwing 2022 annual is number one right there. So moving on, Batgirl's 2022 annual, and some number ones actually. Justice Society of America number one comes out. Superman Kal-El Return Special. Thank the freaking Lord that Clark Kent is back as Superman. I hope that something, Son of Kal-El just wasn't doing it for me story-wise. And Blue Beetle Graduation Day number one comes out for DC. Over on the Marvel side, we have Star Wars Darth Vader 29, Strange number 8, Planet Hulk Worldbreaker number 1, Strange Academy Finals number 2, and X-Terminators number 3. Speaking of Marvel, if whoever's listening to this podcast or watching, if you are an avid customer of Treasure Island Comics in Fremont, Alex did post earlier today that some of the books were damaged. So you will not be getting, I think it's one of the Avengers. It's Avengers. I'm totally blanking. It might be a new story. But also Strange number 8 and Strange Academy Finals number 2 was also damaged. So he's put in a reorder through Diamond to get a replacements for everyone who has them pulled, or of course customers just coming in wanting to get them. So I will not be getting Strange Academy Finals number 2 this week. From Image Comics, King Spawn 17, Rogue Sun number 8, Stillwater 16, and Philadelphia 25. Boom Studios gives us Briar number 2 and Damn Them All number 2. Dynamite gives us 007 number 4, and of course one of our favorites, AWA Absolution number 5, and Erratic Recharged number 3. Okay, now that I catch my breath, that was a lot of books, or at least a lot to say. Sir,
you got to give the fans the rundown, man.
I know.
You got to let them know.
Especially all these number ones now, because this week now I'm only getting, I had a stack of 6, and now it's down to 5 because of no Strange Academy. So Alex is going to throw in like 2 or 3 more number ones for the Christmas giveaway. I'm going to do a Christmas giveaway probably the week in between, like either right before Christmas or right after Christmas, and then give everyone some brand new books to start the new year out. And then we'll probably do it on like a bi-monthly, like not every month. We did one in October, November, December, but I'd probably say, we'll do one in February, and then April to bring in the spring, and then June to bring in the summer, something like that, just kind of every other month sort of thing, or unless I accumulate so many number ones that I have to do a giveaway like every month. But yeah, should be fun. What are you excited for this week? Or just get into, I know you don't have a big stack of books to talk about this week, but yeah.
I'm excited. Obviously, Detective, the Ram V story has it's been pretty good.
Right.
Just a little bit different from my Tamaki story, but uh, I get a little bit of all that, and Batman incorporated that whole world with like Clown Hunter and whatnot. So I'm excited, and which I still have Batman Incorporated #2 to read. That's one I still got, and then I obviously got the ones from last week for this week. I'm excited for 007 actually. I feel like it's been a while since I read one of those. But that one's coming out. I don't know if you've been keeping up on that one. Doesn't seem like you've been too excited about this offering of 007 as we were 2 offerings ago, but
Yeah, not as much as the other ones, obviously.
right. I mean, yeah, the first one I feel like was pretty good. The second one was pretty good as well, but yeah, like last week I'm gonna get a bunch of books that I didn't get from last week that I'm really excited for, which is Daredevil. You probably got that one, and obviously the other Action Comics were getting close to obviously that 1050, which is supposed to be pretty big. But yeah, I mean, not too much. What about you? I mean, what are you most excited about before we get into what we want to talk
Well,
about?
I mean, I was excited about the Strange Academy freaking finals #2, but I ain't getting that. What the hell? Before I get into anything, Vicious Heart 06, we're chatting a little bit. He's actually been reading some Marvel comics through their Marvel app on iOS. And now I mentioned this in 167 last week that's how I started with comics. Of course, I started actual comics with the shit. What was the Rebirth? All the Rebirth when that whole event happened. That's when I started to go into TI when they're at their old location in Fremont, and so I started to get the actual books. But what I started with was the whole New 52 run of Justice League on their app, and it was cool because I actually got to experience the story. It was an easy read because I had it set up. They have a setting where it goes bubble to bubble, like in order. And then all of a sudden when you've read every bubble, it zooms out and it shows you the whole page of what it looks like. But if you want to give us a little review on the chat right here, Vicious Heart 06, please tell us how how it's different than what I just explained, what the DC was. And if you like that if you like to consume your comics that way, if it's due to lack of space or you just don't really give a shit about actually collecting the actual books and maybe reselling them later, like how's that experience going for you so far? So while we wait for that answer, I'm excited for, of course, the Strange Academy Finals #2, and you know what? Damn them all. #2 is pretty good. I'm holding out, and I'm gonna wait for Sean to get into #1 when he comes back next week. But I gotta say, I'm super excited about that one, and probably, Superman Kal-El Returns. I'm super excited. I'm really excited to see the end of this Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths story and how the Justice League returned in issue #6, and then how this is going to go into their next kind of big event or big era in DC Comics. But thank God, I want my action, Superman, Detective, Batman. I need that back. I need that sense of consistency back.
Yeah, I feel you, and it has changed a lot, obviously, with these writers and Batman changing, and with the Detective, with them changing from Tamaki and obviously Tynion, right? I mean, I feel a different wave coming. I don't know what the new year is going to obviously bring in that aspect, but I hope that they do build on this with like Failsafe in general and Batman and whatnot, and everything going on in Detective. I hope that it is built on, but I don't know, man. I would like to see something a little bit different for my liking, but I mean, you can't always have it your way, right? So I think Marvel has been all right as well. Mike, I feel myself kind of pulling a lot more books and actually trying a lot more #1s from previews that we get monthly. So I just read that Winter Soldier, the special, which was pretty decent. Gave you like a little backstory on kind of what's going on with Bucky Barnes and Steve Rogers and what's going on in that whole story right now. So that was pretty interesting. And obviously, with Miles Morales getting rebooted, right? So I think that that's going to be pretty interesting. Obviously, this Spider-Man got rebooted not that long ago, and as Alex would say, we still don't know what the hell happened to Peter Parker. But I mean, it's keeping it fun. So I think Marvel's keeping it fun. DC is keeping it fun as well. I think that I mean, a lot is still yet to be desired. But you know, the smaller publishers as well. Like I mentioned a couple of weeks ago, I haven't been pulling as many AWA books. I was all about them when they first came out. But yeah, just kind of trying to tread water right now, see what's good,
Right.
and see where the books that I'm already pulling and reading are going from here on out. But you know, I'm always ready to make changes and see what the new year brings us.
That's very true. Yeah, I was just thinking too. I got the previews, you know, last week, so I think I'm going to go in through that in the next couple of days before I go back to work this week, and you know, put together my list for that one. So I'll be doing that one. Let's see. Let's get into some of the books real quick. Actually, real quick, Vicious Heart 06, he says I enjoy the app overall. They have a giant library of all, if not most, of the comics, making some runs through Venom, Thanos, and original Infinity Gauntlet run, and some Captain America. See, that's the thing. You can get through so many books and not have to take up any kind of space in your apartment or house or whatever, you know what I'm saying? So that's the thing with that Justice League run. How long would it have taken for me to actually, like, you know, kind of carry around my book? Because you always carry around your phone. You know, it's easy to just pull it out and, you know, instead of playing a game, you're reading some books, right? And he says that the app runs very well, as they do have options for a full page read or zoom and isolate panel to panel. I think it's user-friendly and easy for beginners to get into. I don't collect much comics, but I do have a special place for the Dark Horse series Halo. Oh, nice. I've been collecting some of those for a few years. Oh, that's very cool. So, exactly, just someone for beginners to get into, like I did. It's probably just like the way to go if you don't really know what you want just yet. To read a few stories, yeah, that's pretty cool. Thanks for the opinion and for the review.
And I got another question for him real quick, actually. It's like, I like to bounce stuff off the listeners as well. I mean, you hear someone say that they, you know, you would think it would be DC or Marvel that someone kind of wants to collect or start off with,
right,
or, you know, get introduced into. But I love when I hear people say, like, they collect a smaller publisher like a Dark Horse or an IDW or a Dynamite, right, because they're maybe into Bond or something like that. So, I mean, if you're still on, I forgot your username, sorry, but if you're still on and you wanted to answer that, I'm willing to know what your answer is. But Halo, is it because of the game? Is it, you know what I mean? Just,
right.
Yeah, but it's cool to see how people get into them. It could be because of a video game. It could be because of just something else, or you know, a family member or something. And I like to hear all those different stories, and I hope that we get to hear a lot of them come next July down in San Diego as well. So
for sure. So let's I'm going to go ahead and give a review of two comics that I read. Just, I've actually been trying to get ahead of these books, right? Because I tell you, like, hey, I have an opportunity to get ahead and not be 2 full weeks down every week, you know. So I was able to get 2 or 3 more in. But from Mark Russell, from Ablaze Comics comes Traveling to Mars. I swear, this guy. Look at this guy.
Oh, that's got to be crazy.
Look at this,
Mark Russell.
Look at this guy. Who does he remind you of, this individual?
Oh, God. Don't tell me. What's his name? Oh, what? Oh, I can't. Rick Remender.
Yeah, he looks like Ernie Ray Clementine, huh?
Yeah, Ernie Ray Clementine.
So anyway, so this guy, he's going to Mars. He's traveling to Mars because they have something on Mars that can kind of save the world, right? And he's
Elon Musk.
Right, and he has like stage 4 terminal cancer. So they came to him and said, you know, like, will you do this? And we'll give your family like $10 million. So a lot of the story is actually what you and Sean said. Sometimes you don't really like the inner monologue. Like, a lot of the writing is he's writing a letter, right? Just given the whole situation of how the government came to him and gave him this offer, and how, and just is the process of getting ready for it. And all of a sudden, the first issue ends with finally the feeling of regret of not saying goodbye to anybody. Like, he never told anybody about the mission, how he was sick, the money that he was getting. He's just going to send the money out, like, when he goes and does this mission, right? And because they were thinking to, they were talking to the doctors and the scientists, like, how are you going to end it, right? Like, you're pretty much going to end your life up there in Mars, because something to do with the atmosphere, and the atmosphere of Mars itself makes it, the cancer cells like freeze, like they stop. They stop, mutating and just kind of killing him, right? And so finally the last couple of pages was like, wait, stop, and like he's already taken off, and you just see Earth in the distance, and he's like, pretty much like, fuck, like I didn't get to say goodbye to anybody. Like I'm writing this whole letter and kind of like this journal thing, and he's like, not really giving a shit because like no one cared about him. He doesn't care about anybody. Like, like this is it. Like I'm just gonna be dead, right? So that was pretty good. It's a pretty good story to start, right?
And that's where it ended.
That's where issue 1 ended. Yeah,
yeah.
So he's on his way to Mars. So it's actually a pretty good book. I don't know, because usually like a Blaze, you would think like a Blaze, huh? And it was like one of like the Previews World, their book is like one of their gems of the month, I think, or something. So kind of like, whoa, like this seems pretty cool. And like, Mark Russell, like,
well, it's Mark Russell,
huh?
It's Mark Russell.
Well, I know.
He wrote that, the Billionaire's Island. I forgot, what was that publisher that he wrote Billionaire's
Ahoy?
Island for?
Was it Ahoy?
Ahoy. I think it was Ahoy.
Right.
Yeah, so I mean, he gets around writing these like crazy stories. He also wrote that, the one that I don't know if it put him on the map. Excuse my ignorance, but he wrote that one with the Jesus, right? It's and I forgot what it was called, when it's like he's like Jesus comes down and he's like Jesus's helper or something like that.
I know what you're talking about.
I'm gonna look it up real quick.
But that one was pretty good. Just to build off of what Vicious Heart 06 was saying, personally, I'm a huge Halo fan, been a fan since Combat Evolved. I've always found the story to be so interesting past the games that the story inspires so many branches into its lore. People see the Master Chief as a robot soldier with superpowered strength. He's basically Captain America with super soldier serum tech that progressed farther beyond 1945 into the year 2552. Besides, small companies need love too. That's very true. That's very very true. So yeah, that's good. It's good insight, into why people kind of like that. Well, like it kind of reminds me of like Halo, right? It comes off a video game. After Buffy the Vampire Slayer ended its show after season 7 on WB or CW or whatever the hell it was, UPN, UPN 44, and my mom continued the story. Like they started season 8 of the show in comic book form. So they started that. So she's been, or at least I don't know if and when they ended it, but she then started collecting Buffy the Vampire Slayer like 1, but it was technically like season 8 of the show. So I thought that was pretty cool, and it kind of keeps you in that lore, like what he was saying, like in that world, so to speak. So pretty cool. And the final one I'm going to review real quick before we get into the two that we're going to review together is from Image and the World of Geiger, from Jeff Johns and Gary Frank, Brad Anderson, Junkyard Joe #2. I know Sean was on #1, but this story is just absolutely insane. It kind of goes back to the war, right? Like when Junkyard Joe was created and kind of unleashed back in Vietnam in the war, and now it's fast forwarded to one of the main characters who actually survived issue 1. He is now old, retired, and he pretty much created Junkyard Joe when he came back from the war in the 70s. Pretty much created a Sunday morning comic book strip like a Garfield or a Peanuts, right? And he wrote every single week the adventures of Junkyard Joe, right? And everyone just thought it was like a made-up, Superman or, Batman character, right? But it was actually based off of someone real, like an actual robot who helped them fight in a war, right? New neighbors move in. They try to meet, him, and he's kind of like a recluse. He kind of is, kind of by himself, right? And so what's weird is that night after he retires, he comes in and Junkyard Joe is standing at his front door like, what the hell are you doing, right? Just waltzes into his house, looks at the picture of him and the other part of the platoon that was with him and stuff, but you could see in the picture he had his skin on, like before it was blown off and it was just, the robot. And then finally, the very end of the...
That's like on the cover, right?
Right, of the first issue. Yeah. And finally... there was the final issue the final few pages, was two police officers kind of questioning, like, oh, like, did you see the robot or whatever? Like, did you see him? And then like they're giving their story and everything, and all of a sudden the two police officers asking questions get shot in the back of the head, and then and then they turn around and it's like it looks like three people with the Junkyard Joe masks on, but you could see like human skin and eyes like under the mask, and they're like, and then they say, which way did the robot go? So there's some conspiracy behind, they're trying to catch Junkyard Joe, or some shit's about to unfold, and that's why I'm saying, like, what the hell? Like, this whole Geiger universe with, you only have to read the first 6 issues of Geiger, and then you get to this Junkyard Joe. It opens up a whole, of course, like I always say, another layer of the onion that is Geiger. But yeah, huge fan of this story so far. Sean's gonna love it.
So it's like he's kind of, now I'm having another brain fart. Man, what's wrong with me tonight? Who's the writer? Jeff Johns. So is Jeff Johns, he's like creating like his own little like universe and world, right? With this character. So I mean, damn. After last week, or was it last week or the week before, when I mentioned that website that gives you all the books for the week that were, kind of like on the wish list of people and whatnot, or people have been searching and buying and have been fair market value near mint, NM, what is it, NM, FVM or whatever?
Yeah, fine.
No, fair market value, FMV.
Oh, yeah, FMV, fair market value.
and after seeing how it was doing pretty good up there, man, I kind of dropped it after that first arc. The story wasn't doing that much for me. The whole like nuclear, I did like the aspect with the kids and everything, but I don't know. It's just, I don't know. Maybe I was getting too many books at that time. I know there was a time there where we were getting onslaughts of books, Michael. I know you remember that. 8, 9, 10, like 11.
Every single week.
It was every week we were getting these DCs, and I forgot what book came. Wasn't it Detective that came for every week when Tamaki's run was ending? I think Detective was every week for about.
When they had like the Arkham Tower.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, man, so it might have been then, but I regret it. But then I don't know. I mean, to catch back up, I would just have to read that 80-page or 100-page giant.
Yeah, and you know what? I think
one, right?
I think like Junkyard Joe was in that book and stuff, but I mean, I guess it would be necessary. I'm sure if you asked Alex, he probably would be like, nah, you don't really need to now. I mean, just to get it now and then kind of read through it over the next few months, maybe, but I don't think it's absolutely necessary to go into Junkyard Joe. Maybe flip through and find the Junkyard Joe story and then pick back up, but there's other different stories. So, yeah. Okay, cool. Let's get into it, man. Let's do The Flash, number 788. All right, I know you liked it. I thought it was cool. We have a new mayor.
See, you see what I mean about The Flash? How many times have you and Mr.
It's
Sean
like the
tried
freaking
to
Godfather,
say,
man. He's just like, I try to get out, and they suck me back in, or whatever the line is.
How many times have I tried to tell you and Sean, like, it's kind of coming back. It's different, it's different from what we're getting, what we got, I mean, with the whole Barry Allen and whatnot. Now we're in Wally's world, not Walmart, but we're here in Wally's world. And, man, it was crazy, dude. So he's about to be a father again, Mike. What you think about that?
Can you imagine that? Like if, you had already 2 kids, one of them's what do they look like?
Jai.
What do they look like? They're like Jai 12 and 10. Like you're already damn near teenagers, and then you have to start all over again with the late nights and the diapers and like, oh, good Lord, kill me. Sorry out there, kill me. God damn.
It's the adventure, Michael. Come on, you have to be up for it. I mean, you said I'm getting old, right? It's getting to a point where it's knock it out or that's it. But yeah, back away from my personal life, back into the book. But
I mean, dude. So we have Captain Cold, you have Heatwave, Mirror Master, Weather Wizard, and Trickster, all being deputized.
All in on it. Mm-hmm. All in on it with this mayor guy, right? So the mayor,
the former warden of
that's right,
of the prison, yes, of Iron Heights.
What's Iron Heights? I like that prison name.
Hell yeah,
sounds like something that would have been in like a Nas song back in the day or something.
Exactly.
Or that's Rikers Island and Iron Heights. I think that's probably why it's like where they're getting it from. But I mean, yeah, I really like it. I think the end was pretty crazy with that character that showed up at the end, the Pied Piper.
Yeah, Michael. He was another one of like the rogues who he was just a villain, but just kind of confusing how he came to his aid, to the Flash's aid, right? It was like all these different rogues that you see in the rogues gallery. They're the ones being deputized. They're the ones who are fighting but not fighting. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're doing like the right thing finally. They're painting Wally West as the villain, and all of a sudden Pied Piper comes in, but he's not with the rogues. He's not the deputized, kind of junior police officers. He's actually trying to help Wally West. So yeah.
And he thought he wanted Reverse Flash's help also, right?
Right.
Was that Reverse Flash that he went to go see, and he set him up pretty much? So
right. Yeah.
That's how the rogues found him, and Mirror Master and all these dudes. So it's a good start to a cool arc. Yeah, exactly. I want to see what this mayor's about and how it's going to end up.
Right, and all of a sudden he gets powers. Remember, he's like, "Don't worry about it."
The mayor, he got the powers.
What the hell? So we have to find out about that now. Mm-hmm. So we'll see.
That's right, because the chick got kind of weirded out. She was like, "How do you got powers?"
Yeah.
He's like choking her pretty much.
Right.
Because he wanted her to tell her, or he wanted her to go back and tell some people something about something. I forgot exactly what it was, but and he's all getting mad at her, and he's got powers. So we're gonna see what this damn mayor is gonna do. But it's pretty fun. It's been pretty fun.
And last but not least, another Batman One Bad Day, Mr. Freeze. Just another fun story. It's like it's a long book, so it takes a lot longer to read. So $7.99, but for $2-3 more than what you'd normally get, just a great story. Really focusing on Robin too. I like the amount that Robin's in. Right? It feels like feels like it's kind of more of a Robin story than a Batman story, really.
Yeah, the Robin was the one that got all the intel pretty much on Nora Freeze, and pretty much that was kind of like when you were talking about that Mark Russell book, To the Moon or whatever, and you said pretty much I was kind of thinking of how Victor had Nora pretty much locked down, and it was really like a good story, because all these have been good because it gets into like the real intellect and the real deep dark side of like their psyche and their like family. And when Mr. Freeze says, "Oh, you don't know, or have you ever even lost anyone to Batman?" and it's like probably like a grin on this face and whatnot. But I really did enjoy this book. I don't think I enjoyed it as much as the Penguin one, to be honest with you. I kind of want to do a little ranking with the ones that we read.
Okay. I will say that I did like the part where, like, Mr. Freeze, Victor Von Freeze, he kind of gets mind-effed by Robin when he says, "This isn't what that big brain is for." I love that line. And then he just has, like, an inner, like, flashback. I'm like, oh, shit. Like, my wife said that. Like, how did you know that? Just kind of, like, mind fucks him. All right, cool. Let's rank them. Tom King's,
but that was good inner monologue too.
Yeah.
When she was writing the letter to him, right? When he was reading her writing the letter, and all the art, it was like showing him getting all mad and getting all crazy. And she was, I don't know if she was talking to him. I think she like wrote a letter to him, right? When she told him, "Don't let that brain or whatever, like, do something good."
Yeah. Right. But yeah, because then they got the technology to then move the vaccines all throughout the world, right? Kind of, he was actually vindicated pretty much at the very end of the story, and he was just like laughing, doing his snow angels at the very end of the story while he's in Arkham Asylum.
So Victor Freeze pretty much gave up the antidote, and he gave up all his secrets to what he was creating, because he was going wherever he was going, into Iron Heights or Arkham, wherever the hell, Metropolis, and Rikers Island. And
I'm telling you, bro, that was Robin right there. Like, he had a big hand in him kind of reversing what he thought and kind of making him dig deep of what his wife really wanted him to do, after it was pretty much a foregone conclusion that she was going to die, being sick. So kudos to that story, to Jerry Dugan, I want to say. It's a great story. If I were to rank them, let's rank them. I could easily say that it's the best is the first one, Tom King's Riddler, and then it gets slightly worse as it goes, right? Tamaki was Two-Face, right? That's my favorite. Really? Two-Face is what was my favorite. How I love the story of Harvey Dent just making everyone feel like he's turned over a new leaf, right? And a part of him actually does. Actually, half, 50% of him does want to turn over a new leaf. And almost 100% of the time, it doesn't work out that way. Someone gets killed, someone gets backstabbed, something happens to where it's like, oh, shit, he really can't change, right? He really can't. And we actually visit that kind of notion in the Mr. Freeze book. How Bruce and Dick Grayson and Alfred talk about it. Are there actually people who really can't be saved, right? And I think I would go Tamaki's Two-Face 1, and then back to Tom King's Riddler, and then Penguin, and then Mr. Freeze. Not saying Mr. Freeze is bad, but it's like, you know, I'm just ranking him one.
We just finished saying how good
I'm just
it was
ranking him one.
how much
Right. So hey, if you're listening to this for the first time ever, and you're saying this Batman One Bad Day series, if I'm telling you right now that the one we just gave kudos to, and like probably ranking it a 7 out of 10. That's my grade, and it's the worst one out of the 4. Maybe you want to go hit your local comic book store and get the other 3 because it's really good, a really good series of books. And if you're really worried about these uptick in prices, like the Flash, you know, I finished that shit in like 8, maybe around 10 minutes. There's plenty of writing. $3.99. Spend double the price to get these books. Well worth the money. How would you rank them?
I'm with you on there, man. I'm definitely with you. They are, and I might have mentioned this a couple months back or whatever, or maybe even in an interview that we had with the very proud sponsor of the Comic Bookies podcast, Treasure Island Comics in Fremont, California. But the owner, when we have him on like quarterly with Alex, I might have asked him like, could this be the way that comics might be going because they're raising in prices? Are they going to just be like kind of smaller trades, like these one-shot type of deals? Mm-hmm. Because, dude, these stories really have been good. And Freeze, like we said, we definitely giving kudos to it, how much we like it. And it's definitely a good story, but I'm with you. It's also going to be 4th on my list, Mike. But this is why I love doing this podcast, because I love having different opinions from my co-hosts and for us to talk about it, because my other 3 are completely jumbled around. Like some of these groups in these group stages here at the World Cup in Qatar, mine are really, really jumbled around compared to yours. But first, I'm going to go with the Penguin story, man.
All right.
I really just enjoyed that Penguin story, Mike. I thought it was really fun how I really just enjoyed the way the story opened. He's just like sitting there on the bench and he's like looking into Gotham from across the water. And then he's just like plotting on how he's going to get back up in the game and how he's going to come back through the ranks after. I forgot who that villain's name was in that story. He was the African-American guy dressed real nice and real fly. Man. Yeah, the Umbrella. Well, I mean, Penguin supposedly has umbrellas also. But yeah, the Umbrella Man.
That was his like guy who held his umbrella.
So he took over. And yeah, I think he might have. But yeah, I just really enjoyed how he's just sitting there looking over into Gotham, and he's kind of plotting on how the hell he's gonna be able to come back up in the ranks. And that kid comes up to him, right? And then he's like, ask him. The kid brings him the pistol, right? Because he can't go into Gotham and try to be the king again and not have that damn pistol on him, that thing, right? That heater. He's like, oh, I only have 1 bullet, right? Or was it 1 bullet, right?
Oh, right.
And then something like that. And then he it's great. So whatever. And then the dude, the little kid that brings him the gun, he's just like, man, if I were you, I would just use that 1 bullet on yourself and end it right here. You nothing, man. You're like, you know what I mean? He's like, F that. He goes, he talks to that one chick with the big fist and whatnot. And then he kind of just regains. He goes and pops the other dude, and then he gets his bullets, and he tells the other dude, oh, well, when I got it back in here, I only had 1 bullet, so 3's better than 1. And like, dude, it was just a great, great story. I don't know why. I just really, really
scratching and clawing to get back from nothing.
Back from nothing, from like the throne he was taken from. But yeah, that one I really enjoyed. So that'd be my number 1. My number 2 would definitely be probably the Riddler one as well. I really did kind of like that one. I really liked how they showed or depicted what's his name, Enigma. How do you pronounce it?
Yeah,
Enigma,
yeah.
I think.
Edward Nigma.
Enigma. I like how that he would like. There was a lot of parts that showed him as a kid. Same thing with the Penguin as well. They showed him as a kid also, but that'd be my second one. My third one, obviously. My third one obviously would be the Two-Face, which you liked. So
I did.
But yeah,
All right.
that would be my ranking.
All right, let's move on from the comic books to a couple of the stories. Actually, just a few highlights that I have.
Let me ask you something real quick though. Did you read that Death of Superman?
No, I didn't.
Okay, let me know when you read that one.
I will.
It was fire.
Okay. Sam Raimi and what the hell's his name? Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man 4 obviously didn't happen. It was canceled, but revealed within the last couple of days. They had plans to have Vulture as their villain, and they actually posted pictures today, and revealed the concept, like not art, but the actual wings of Vulture. It was all over Twitter and stuff today, and obviously the news thing that I look up. So that's pretty cool. Someone kept him for like the last 15 years after number 4 was canceled, right? So that's pretty cool. What else? Did you know that Twisted Metal is getting a live action show?
No.
Sir?
Twisted
I
Metal?
guess it was announced in like 2019.
Where's our Halo guy?
It was announced in 2019, and it's like still, and I think it's almost wrapped up. So Peacock gave details of the upcoming Twisted Metal story. Dude,
oh, that's right. I remember us talking about that many moons ago on this episode. That's
what's his
right.
name? Sam, forgot.
Bankman Fried?
No, Sam, what the hell's his name? The guy who plays Winter Soldier, what the hell? Black Falcon.
Sam Wilson.
Sam Wilson. Yeah, he's going to be playing John Doe in the series. The guy who voices Lego Batman, he's going to be the voice of Sweet Tooth in the show. So yeah, a couple sweet details, details about that show, but I can't wait for that to come. And this next one, I have a Black Adam review. Me and my wife spent $20. It was Amazon Prime. Sorry, it wasn't not Apple TV. It was Amazon Prime. They had it available for $20, so pretty much at least half of what we would spend on tickets at the theaters, right? And just like a non-spoiler, try not to spoil because I want you to watch it, Sean to watch it. I liked it. I definitely liked a lot of these characters that we've seen in like a Justice League Dark, like a Dr. Fate. Definitely like all the graphics with him. Hawkman's character was dope. I did like the story, right? It was consistent all the way through. They kind of, started with the crown. I'm not gonna kind of give it away, but just the story behind Black Adam and how he came to be, and then how he came back and was re-released and everything, and how you can view him as the hero of the story, but then also at times he can become the villain, and that's what Black Adam is in all of his comic book stories as well too. So it was a really good story, and of course I'm sure it's all over the news, all over the the interwebs and everything, all the social media sites. But Henry Cavill as Superman does make a cameo appearance in the cutscene at the end of the movie. So hopefully some kind of Shazam, Black Adam, Superman mesh together. That'd be an amazing, beautifully, yes, CGI, but it would just look beautiful. So more in-depth review to come. Vicious Hearts 06 is asking if we've seen the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special. No, I have not. I've heard great things. It's 45 minutes on Disney Plus, and I think it was released like Friday, like the day after Thanksgiving. My wife's like, did you see this was on? I was like, oh shit, that's right, it's on there. So I think we're gonna watch that tomorrow or Wednesday night, and then of course next week.
That sounds fun.
Yeah.
45 minutes.
I heard it was really good too. So of course, if you've seen the other two, it's easy if you're familiar with the characters and everything. So, but I heard it's really cool. So I have not seen it though. So, and that's all for me, sir. What about you? Anything for the world of entertainment? I know you have some
world of entertainment. I don't want to make this too long, but we were going to get into this rant, like I guess last week, right? Talking about streaming,
right.
And it's just I got from the Wall Street Journal today. It was like pretty much two articles, literally like right next to each other on Disney basically, well, the headline is Disney misfires on Strange World, and then the other one is how Netflix finds a theater hit in this Glass Onion, a Knives Out mystery. I haven't heard anything about this Netflix, and I actually wasn't even really aware that they have done this in the past, and they have released movies in the albeit it's been in the theater, but not as widespread as this one was, because supposedly this one was released to the three main theaters, which is, AMC, Cinemark, and Regal Cinemas. So, but yeah, pretty much it says here on the from Wall Street Journals, it made 9.2 million between Friday and Sunday, which is pretty much, I mean, it's pretty awesome for them, because I think they're only going to release it for 6 days, and I think they're going to put it right onto Netflix. So it said pretty much it debuted in hundreds of theaters between the 23rd and the 29th before its planned release, like I said. But the thing that I wanted to say is with Disney Plus and with their shortfall on this book, or I mean on this movie, which it said pretty much since Raya and the Last Dragon opened during the pandemic, 8.5 million, and this one was pretty much the lowest grossing one in this last 10 years, along with Lightyear. As we all know, that got released. Lightyear did in June, but as we all know now, we got Bob Iger back at the helm at Disney, Mike. And I know this is kind of like a rant you wanted to get into last week. And so we got two opposing things here from what I'm reading from this article that I want to share with you guys. So, so Disney's Iger basically, this is all news coming out today, where Iger basically told employees today at Disney that he plans on, they have to basically do more of their streaming service and, do more of the content and how to make better revenue with the content, and not just keep pushing a subscription model, right?
Right.
I think that maybe this CEO, returning, is seeing that they're kind of tapped out with subscribers. There's a lot of different streaming going on in the world today. So as we all know, it's all going to get wrapped up, packed up the cable one day, right? But anyway, he said that they have to, focus more on less on subscriptions, more on revenue from the streaming services, right? From the content. But from Netflix's CEO, from what I'm seeing here in this article, let me read some things real quick. It says CEO Ted Randos has opposed pretty much doing video releases in the theater. And because of the marketing expenses associated with theatrical releases, and because he is concerned it could devalue Netflix subscription, the centerpiece of the company's business model. So that's pretty crazy, right? You got this dude saying that, he wants to focus more on subscription, and Iger, that just basically took over from Disney, he wants to focus less on subscriptions, right?